was trying to get my testimony. The devil, he trying to work, because I'm like, look, clearly he at work, but I ain't got time. I asked my friend to leave the room because he was like, I didn't even do anything. Nobody said you did anything. I just asked you to leave the room so I could be raw, because he's a distraction for me. Like, if he's in the room, I can't be real raw and I couldn't say what I need to say. You see what I'm saying? This is a moment where I have to actually take a deep look at myself, right? I know this was just supposed to be a lot retwist, but it's more than that. He was feeling some type of way because I asked him to leave the room. It's like, the Lord really working with me when it comes to patience, y'all. Because sometimes sometimes I really be wanting to say some stuff. And it's just like, it's unnecessary a lot of the times. The stuff that we be going through be unnecessary, bruh. Like, it just be stupid. Anyways, that's not the focus of this. The focus is, you know, hopefully this story helps someone. I'm going to give my life story, and that's just going to be that. And then I'm going to let it go through this, because I can't keep holding on to this. I think I may need therapy. Yeah, there's that. But it's also like, it's a lot going on with me right now. And I'm in this transitionary phase, and I'm trying to figure out, should I hold on to some people or should I let them go? Even though they want to be for me, is it really for me to continue to hold on? Because they saying they're going to be there for me and all of that, but it's just like, that's fine and dandy. But if I can't be there, it's me. So if I can't be there the way I need to be there, should this relationship still exist? Should we take some time apart? Because that's something we still have not done. I'm not going to, we're not going to go into all that, but I met a man and I love him, but I know I'm not ready for what he deserves. You see what I'm saying? Like, he deserves better than me. I'm not where I'm supposed to be at right now. And I don't want to hurt him more by allowing him to stay around, because I know he's not going to go away unless I ask him to go away. But I don't want him to go away. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes I do. But, you know, most times, more often than not, I think it's also the abandonment and me not wanting to be alone situation that I got going on. We're going to go a little bit deeper into that. But, like, legit, I'm realizing there's some things I know that I need to work on as an individual. And I feel like I may not be able to work on it with this person here. Or this person has helped me. They loved on me. Even when I didn't love myself, they've loved on me. And I feel like the Lord did place them here. I do feel like there's some space that needs to be readjusted. We need to have some space. And I didn't think about that before I allowed this individual to pay rent and live with me. But now I'm realizing that I probably need to reconsider, because it's now no longer optional. You see what I'm saying? Now that this person is here, if they're paying rent, that means they live here. And we had already established that he wasn't living here, even if he is, which he said that. I told him, I said, if you pay rent and it's okay with my roommate, you can stay here. But that's neither here nor there. My living situation is just interesting. And this is what the peace aspect isn't coming from him being around. The peace aspect is coming from me being used to being by myself and it being about me and me having to get rid of my selfishness, right? That's where the battle in me is happening, because I'm so used to doing stuff the way that I want to do it, but I can't do it that way when he's around. And I think God is placing that in place for a reason, because he's trying to get me away from bad habits. We're going to go, you know, further into that or whatever, but I'll just give you guys a brief, possibly in-depth, possibly not. I don't want to tell too much. Like I said, it's a lot going on for me. So as far as me and this friend, we're not even going to go into that story. That's a story for another time. This whole video was supposed to be about my life and you know, honestly, it was supposed to be about how I got to where I am now. This is just my truth. If anybody is offended by this, who knows me, who watches this, it is what it is at this point. I am choosing to move on from this, and I gotta let this go. And in order for me to let it go, I gotta be true with myself and how a lot of the stuff that I've been through has affected me, whether it was voluntarily or involuntarily. And I can't keep holding it in, and I gotta find some way to get it out. And I know Jesus can heal my heart, and I know He can really help me, but I gotta turn it over to Him. And this is just a step in going in that direction. Is me actually vocally saying this stuff, or just speaking it on video or whatever. Anyways, so this whole situation we just had just aggravates me. It really does, because I can't focus now. But anyways, so when I was younger, I come from a single parent household, so that's already a problem in itself, because you don't have the father in the household. But I'm gonna just start before I even say anything. I'm about to say I love my mother. We're working on our relationship. We are in a better place than we were when I was younger, and I'm thanking God for that, because He's not only changing her heart, He's changing my heart, and we're getting to where we need to be. This is in no way to blame her or bring any malice or anything, or to talk or gossip. It's not what the purpose of this is. This is just strictly therapeutic for me, because I need to get a lot of stuff off my chest that I've been feeling about everything, and I haven't said any. Well, I've talked to some people, but I haven't really let go of a lot of the stuff that I thought I had let go of. Okay, and I know it's only due to me and the battle within me that's going on. So basically, like I said, I grew up in a single parent household. We're not going to go into whether it was by choice or not. We're not going to go into the hypotheticals or the possibilities. My parents were not together. My parents were both good parents, but they struggled when it came to coming together for me. And me not seeing them come together for me when I was younger, it really instilled in me a lot of instability. That still affects me to this day. Like I said, I thought I had let a lot of this stuff go. If I cry during this, y'all, ignore me. Like my tears and how I feel about the situation no longer matters, because God is working it out. So I can't act like it doesn't affect me, though. You see what I'm saying? I'm not one of those people. People see me and they think that I'm like rough around the edges, that I'm mean, and then I'm this and then I'm that. When really, y'all, I've been through a lot for my age. I'm 26. I'll be 27 on the 25th of this month, and this is just stuff that I need to get off before I turn 27. So, like I said, my parents, they were never together. I was too young to really remember and really take in the fact of realizing what was going on at the time. I remember some things when I was younger, but not a lot. My childhood is kind of like a blur. But I do sometimes remember some instances where I have dreams of like stuff that has, happened to me when I was younger, or, I could remember some stuff, but not everything. And I don't know why that is, at all, in any way, shape, or form. I have no idea why that is. I just know that's just how it is. So a lot of my child, and the thing is, I didn't have a bad upbringing, so I don't know why my mind has like allowed me, but then I'm very forgetful of stuff like from 2 days ago. So there's that. It could just naturally be that, honestly. And this story is gonna be kind of all over the place, so sorry y'all if I'm all over the place. It just is what it is. So like I said, once again, my parents were never together. I was raised in a single parent household. I watched my mom raise the three of us, me and my two sisters. And I would commute between my dad's house and my mom's house My dad was not always married, but eventually he became married to my stepmom, who is now deceased. She passed in 2013, and my dad remarried a year ago. And so that's been a lot in itself, but you know, it's been a journey as well. I'm thankful for both of my stepmoms. But you know, it's okay for me to miss my original stepmom. Anyways, so, yeah, so that is that. Basically, like I said, I was raised in two households, so I was able to see the dynamic between a wife and a husband consistently from a young age, and also see the dynamic, because you know, when you're young, you really don't know what's going on. Let's just be real. You're going with the flow, whichever way the parents push you, that's the way you're flowing. And you don't want to make either parent unhappy. And so my dad did explain to me, he said, Kiana, he said, when you were younger, you did have to see a lot and endure a lot that was not your fault. And I just remember one day when we were riding in the car, and he told me that when I was of age, and I just cried because he was like, why are you crying? I was like, 'cause I just needed somebody. Like, even recently he told me that. We were out on his patio at his home, and we were talking. And he told me, he said, you know, a lot of that stuff wasn't your fault, but I think he knows that I blamed myself as a kid, like, for why. I'm sorry, y'all. I blamed myself as a kid for why couldn't my parents be together, and just, you know, and I blamed myself for a lot of the unhappiness that my mother had, but really her unhappiness was just with her decisions that she made in life. And that's where her unhappiness lied, and she hadn't made peace with those decisions. And so coming up, the anger would be taken out on me. The anger and resentment that she had from my dad would be taken out on me, verbally. And so, a lot of the times when I was younger, there was no, you know, in a lot of Black households, this is still a thing where you're not able to express yourself. Everything is, when you speak up for yourself or try to say how you feel, it's seen as a form of disrespect in a lot of Black households. And clearly this is something that still, like I said, affects me to this day. If I'm crying, it's not, take it at face value. It's still a touchy subject for me. Because I just think about stuff and how much I used to like hate myself when I was younger. Like, I used to hate myself because I didn't understand why my mom was always so angry with me, or why I could never do anything right. But as I got older, I realized, okay, it wasn't that she was angry with me. It was more so she was angry with the decisions she made. And when she looked at me, she always saw my dad. You see what I'm saying? So because she couldn't get to him and speak to him because he refused to speak to her, unless it, you know, had to do with me, then she would just take that anger out on me. There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that was going on when I was younger that I was unaware of, that I now am privy to. It was just a toxic dynamic between them, to say the least. And I was caught in the middle of it. When we were younger, we were kind of raised like not to, you know, have sex because all boys wanted sex, and that's just how we were raised. That's what my mom instilled in us. She scared us into not wanting to have sex from a young age. And when I said it was the right way to go about it, she did what she thought she had to do to try to convince us not to become young and pregnant. And, you know, she tell us, oh, you know, if you get pregnant, I'm not taking care of no kids, so good luck. And so we knew not to even go down that route. We knew not to even go down that route from a young age. And we didn't, for the most part. And so, you know, a lot of people go down that route way younger, but we didn't, because, you know, the fear was instilled in us. Like, you know, hey, if you have a baby, you about to be on your own. And that's just going to be what it's going to be. And I'm not raising no kids. My mom already said that, you know, that she wasn't raising no kids. So it's like, you know, we wasn't even going down that road. We didn't even create a possibility to go down that road. And my little sister, she's like, you know, well, mommy said we couldn't have a boyfriend, so I went and got a girlfriend. I said, I'm done. But literally, a lot of people say that, though. A lot of people who are gay in the Black community say that. Well, my mom said I couldn't have no boyfriend, so I went and got a girlfriend. And it's an inside joke, but it's actually true. And not educating, you know, about sex and stuff, or putting it on the schools to educate your children about sex and stuff. or saying all boys wanted sex and having that be the sex talk. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And not telling the truth. I mean, you could say yes, a lot of STDs and stuff out here. Once we get of age, we know of that, right? But when you're younger, you don't know what's going on. Let's just be real. And I'm not gonna act any different. So anyway, so time progresses. I get older. I went off to college. I made a lot of bad decisions while I was in college. But because I was so sheltered, and I came from such a sheltered household. Not saying that I'm glad I'm glad my mom sheltered me, the way she did when we were younger. Primarily because it was to protect us, genuinely. When us not being aware of what the world was and how evil, people in the world could be. But she knew. And that's why she would not, there was no spending the night over nobody's house. There was no you going out and hanging out all night. If it was, y'all going to the movies, y'all come straight from the movies and y'all come back to the house. And she would usually be the one who was picking us up anyway, me and my little sister. So she'd go hang out with her friends. We'd be at, the mall. And then you come home, and that was our getting out. Was us going to the mall coming up. There was no us going out to no clubs or sneaking out or anything like that. Had an alarm, so the alarm gonna go off, or she gonna get an alert or something. So it's just like, always having an alarm on the house or whatever. Not always, we were younger, but anyways, so when I was younger, my mom she was married when I was younger. I was about like 4 or 5 when she got married, and she married this guy, because my mom has been married 3 times, so she married this guy or whatever. And he was a nice guy. He was really nice. He was really sweet, but my mom said it was like taking care of a 3rd child. So that was that. They ended up divorcing, and she ended up marrying someone else. And that was the worst experience for me as a child. This man was very abusive to not only his own children, but to us. And to this day, like I said, if anybody sees this, oh well. I've never spoken to my mom or had this conversation with my mom about how that affected me when she used to use him and weaponize him against us, y'all. And like I said, this is not to paint. My mom is not who she is now. But that stuff still affected me in childhood, and it still bothers me for whatever reason. It still bothers me, and rightfully so. But these conversations, once again, I never had with her. I never had the guts to actually have with her. Due to in the past, when I would come to her with stuff, she'd just yell at me. And so it's just like, I feel like the conversation will go that way again, which is why I have not had this conversation with her in regards to a lot of this stuff of our upbringing and how it actually affects me. It would be therapeutic for me to be able to tell, the source of this, but it's like, because of how that conversation has gone in the past, I don't go down that road with her, or I don't even bring it up, because I feel like it's either going to be a victim blaming situation, or it's going to be, her playing the victim, or it's not going to be no accountability there. Now I know she's changed now, so I could possibly go back and have that conversation, but that's not a hole I want to go down, right? It needs to be said though, because it's like, until me and her have that conversation, it's going to keep bothering me and affecting me, because it's been festering for years. A lot of stuff that happened while she was married to that man. And it's just like, a lot of stuff she allowed though. Like, she allowed him to beat on us. See what I'm saying? So stuff like that is just like, she would claim that I'm putting my kids first, but she was putting him before even us. And I know that sounds crazy, because it's just like, well, when you're in it, it doesn't feel like it. But when you're the child, we can tell. And when we grow up, we was like, Mommy always be putting these men over us. Like, she always be putting these, and she would deny it to the day she died. No, I would never be like, but that's how it felt to us, because she would be in these relationships or whatever that were not healthy or whatever. And we watched that as little kids. We taking this in. Now, these people would not be around us. She didn't let anybody be around us. She would go out with them and go on dates with them. But that's as far as it went. As far as them being in the house and being around us, no, she protected us completely from them. There wasn't. I'm glad she did, because some of these dudes may have been crazy. But she literally, like, we would sit at the house. And this is when we got older. This wasn't when we were younger. But probably when we were younger, too. I don't know. but because really don't remember, but just the impact that she had. There's the good and there's the bad, and the good could be so good, but the bad, as a child on an emotional level, it just really broke me down. When I was 16, by the time I was 16, I was ready to commit suicide. I was just ready, honestly, to die. I was like, there's no point in me living. There's no point in me even. That's the most suicidal I have been in my entire life when I was 16 and 17. Like, I was ready to just kill myself because I was like, I cannot wait till I get out of this house. Like, and I think most kids think, oh, like my parents just doing this to me, but it was really the isolation, and I isolated myself from my sisters because I felt like I was always, coming up, I was always the butt of a joke. Like, I was like the one to point and laugh at. That's what it felt like. So me and my sisters to this day don't really have a close relationship like that because of stuff that we've been through past that point, but just feeling like the black sheep in the house, and I know what that feels like, and it's not a good feeling. Anyways, so outside of that or whatever, like I said, it was rough. But this is a single parent we're talking about, and I have to, now that I'm older, I understand a lot of the circumstances that she was facing, trying to raise 3 kids on her own, not having much support from the fathers. We all got 3 different dads. Like, it's a lot. But, the bitterness that was going on with her and all that, and then the denial, because she would always deny that she wasn't mad and all of this. And you know how people do. They'll deny and reflect and say, oh, I'm not mad, but then they'll just keep talking about it and being mad about it, and verbally lashing out at you. And so that's how that goes. When people are hurt, they hurt other people, and that's just how that goes. And I grew up, she was very overworked and underpaid, and just trying to, like I said, make a way for 3 kids. By herself majority. I mean, my dad was there, don't get me wrong. My father was there. He tried to be there as much as he could, but he was only allowed to be there according to the court system as much as my mom would allow him to be, and that wasn't much. Outside of visitation and me going in, where there really wasn't no visitation. It was really more so her just, whenever she said I can go over there, I would go over there. And so I grew up around my brothers. I have 3 brothers on my dad's side. My relationship with them is fairly good. We all busy, so there's that. But my relationship with my brothers I'm closer to my brothers than I am to my sister, but it's also probably, I'm not gonna count being a tomboy, but also what I grew up with my sisters. Like, one got away with a lot, and the other just was, she could do no wrong, so there was that. And so I was always the one taking the brunt of the whoopings, primarily from me doing stuff, but also nobody realizing, hey, I'm doing this stuff because I'm not getting any attention because I'm the middle child. And so nobody's worried about me, or I'm overreacting, or it's always me doing too much. I was always doing the blame. So when you grow up and you're the black sheep in the house and you always the one to blame, well, eventually, once you get older, you get out into the world, can't nobody tell you nothing. Can't nobody blame you now once you outside of your mama's house, because I spent 18 years being blamed for everything. Up until the age of 18, being blamed for everything. Even when a lot of this stuff, my mom wouldn't see what they would do, but she'd see what I did. And I get in trouble for what I did. But a lot of stuff that they did, and I guess envy built up there because I would just be so pissed off and like, she always yelling at me, but it was because of her dynamic that she had with my father as well. So there's that. That played a huge role into why I was usually receiving the punishment and why everything was my fault. Everything was me. And so eventually, over time, I just started to hate myself because I was like, if everything is me, then why am I hearing God? Like, why did you even bring me to this world if all I'm going to do is get yelled at and get cursed out? And trust me, there are people who have way worse childhoods than I had. So it's just like, I'm blessed in a lot of ways for the childhood I had. My mom always made sure we didn't go without. The materialistic stuff she covered, but the emotional stuff was where it was lacking. And a lot of parents think, but you can only do what you were shown, right? And we're not going to go into that. But you could literally only do what you were shown. And from what my mom has told me, primarily, my grandmother was there, but she was always working. Same situation. And so my great grandmother was stepping a lot of the time, and my great grandmother raised my mom and my aunt and my uncles primarily. My grandmother was there, but once again, she was always working. She had 5 kids she had to provide for. Sorry, 4 kids she had to provide for outside of the son from marriage. And so, minus the son from marriage. So that's that or whatever. I feel like I said a lot in a little bit of time, and not a lot of time. But basically, I just have to heal from everything that happened. And there's a conversation that needs to be had between me and her, me and my mom. And our relationship has gotten better. For so long, I wanted this relationship and dynamic she had with my sisters. And I couldn't understand why I could never get that or why I wasn't enough. And after a while, I just got tired of crying, y'all. I just got tired of being, like, crying. I was like, and just wondering, like, why can't I have the same dynamic that they have where we could actually have conversations about anything. My oldest sister is very close to my mother, but she's firstborn, so that's kind of normal. But I always wonder, like, why can't I have a relationship that they got? Like, they just the best of friends, and me and my mama barely talk. And I just couldn't understand. But for the longest time, it was just her and my older sister. So I have to remember that bonding was different because the trauma really was, the trauma was there from my older sister's first dad, but he wasn't there. You see what I'm saying? So it was just them two for the longest time. So of course, your firstborn is going to become, it's natural for your firstborn to become your best friend, literally, because for the longest time, it was just them two. That's her first child, you know what I'm saying? So you have, anyways, so yeah. So it made sense, but I was just like, does that make it fair to me? No. Like, I didn't have to be here in second or third. And so there was that. It's just a lot, y'all. It's a lot. And I'm just trying to heal from all of the stuff that's family life. I thought moving away and acting like nothing ever happened would work. That didn't work. Like I said, I went into college not making the best decisions, but I also went into college with a victim mentality because that's what I had seen coming up, was a victim mentality. And so I grew up and people would be like, yo, like, I would always look at what somebody else did to me, not what I did to them, and the role that I played in it, or how I saw the red flags and still went through with whatever. Like, y'all, I used to see red flags blatantly bold as that. I'm like, oh, but they do this and they do this right, so that's not really, that doesn't really matter. Y'all, I was the worst at that. Like, now I'm not. Now if I see the red flags, I run. But, like, when I was younger, y'all, when I was, like, 19 and 20, like, I was reckless. I was out here reckless. Like, really, and well, not ever since it worked, because I wasn't out here drinking and smoking, but I was smoking. I was out here, like, I was in college during that time, so that's that. But then when you don't have no freedom, when you a kid, I mean, it kind of can cause you to rebel. And my cousin always said, she said, when you go to college, you're going to be buck wild. She said, you saying you're not now? She said, you're going to be buck wild. She said, because y'all mama don't let y'all do nothing. She was like, and y'all really ain't got no life outside the house. She was like, so when you go to college, you going to be like, A, easy target. She was like, but B, you going to be wild. I was like, stop saying that. I'm not going to be wild. And she was right, my cousin. My cousin was right. She was right. I was wild. But wild in the sense of not wild like, but wild like I just let myself go, forgot where I came from, who raised me, and who house I came from. Completely. Because when your parent, like, so I stayed like probably 10 minutes from my dad. But when both parents kind of like, my dad's always been a workaholic since I was younger. But, like, both parents are workaholics, and, like, they really ain't got time to be, like, you grown now at this point. 18 in the U.S., usually you grown. That's the culture. But we not always mature the way we need to be. That's the time when our parents really need to be, like, checking on us, but instead they be like, well, I don't raise you right, so whatever mistakes you choose to make, you make, and that's on you. And a lot of parents cover that aspect, but that's just not the way to go, because your child needs you more than ever during that time, even if they act like they pushing you away. And they acting like then you can't tell them nothing. It's always like that with parents. Like, we act like y'all, we know y'all done been here before, but we know, and parents know a lot of stuff that we think of doing that they thought of doing, that they've already done, right? And so it's just like, I feel like a lot of parents are doing the best they can do, but how do you learn what is the best when you haven't been shown? You see what I'm saying? And so that's why I could not stay like, man, I'm also just forgiveness overall. I couldn't stay mad at mom because I was like, you know, she did the best she could the way she knew how. She did what she thought was best at the time. That whether or not it was the best is irrelevant in a lot of cases, because, you know, yeah, it may have had an effect on me, but I can't dwell on that. She did what she thought was right at the time for us. And she's always provided for us and been a good mother in general. Um, Nobody is perfect, and there's always going to be, and I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying that I picked up a lot of attributes and character traits from my mom from when she was younger. And a lot of that negative energy was just kind of sown into me for years. And I became that person in a lot of ways. Even now. I used to hate when people were like, oh, you look just like your mom, or you just, I'm like, no, I like my daddy. I don't like my mom. But I do like my daddy and my mom. But in a lot of ways, I do like my mom. People to me, they was like, oh my gosh, like all your kids look just like you, because we do look like her. She my mama, duh. So it's just like, you know, but I used to hate when people say that. Like, you look just like my mom. I don't look like her. Like, I used to want to be very disrespectful, y'all. And I wasn't able to be. And something to me was very mad that I couldn't be as disrespectful as I wanted to be. Because it was like, anybody could talk to me any type of way, but I can't talk back to you that way. Or I could be provoked, but I can't respond. You see what I'm saying? You can yell at me, scream at me, but I can't say nothing. And then when I don't say nothing, you like, hello, can you hear me? And then when I do say something, it's shut up, I'm talking. So there was never any room to get anything out. And then people are just like, well, you talk so fast right now, and you talk so fast. Because when I was younger, I was never able to say anything. It was always her way or the highway. It was always what she say, and you ain't got no feelings. And most black parents be doing that. And that's why it's like, I won't, when I have a child, I'm not doing that, bro. Like, if your child is human and has feelings too. And a lot of black parents need to hear that, bro. Like, you can't be provoking your children in one hand, and then on the other hand, turn around and literally be like, oh, you know, what I say goes. So I'm gonna provoke you to this, but at the same time, you better not do this. Like, what? Like, it don't make no sense. So it's just like, it was a lot of disarray. And like I said, I began to isolate myself. I sinked into a depression, and she didn't know what was wrong with me, but she never thought to, you know, possibly get therapy. Wasn't a thing. Like, therapy is just never, it's like, oh, that's just Kiana being Kiana. They're like, she's really quiet. And it's just like, because I really be in my own mind and really be about ready to snap. So it's better for me to stay in my own mind than to go freaking crazy on y'all. And it was so many times, like, and I knew I couldn't do it because it was like, I would be committed. If I go that route, I would definitely be committed. And so I was like, no, that's not in my best interest. And also never having the guts, except for probably like twice, that I had the guts to like stand up to her. But other than that, like, you know, I was just doing whatever. Like I said, in college, I was very reckless. I did not respect my body. I was just doing whatever I wanted to. I wasn't taking care of myself the way I should have been, and protecting my peace by not going around certain people. Or wanting everybody to be my friend. They're like, yeah, everybody's not your friend. I'll be so forthcoming with information and telling people everything like how I am now. But I'll be like 5 minutes into a conversation with somebody, and because I never had friends and I was so isolated when I was younger, outside of school, I didn't have any friends. So there was nobody who you could hang out with outside the school. Most people lived outside my neighborhood, so there was I was a loner, and I've always been a loner, and that's not something I take pride in, but for a long time, I was like, I don't need nobody. Like, I don't need nobody, fuck everybody. That's what my mindset was for a long time. Nobody could tell me anything. I didn't want to be around other people. I hated people, y'all, because of what I had seen, and I thought everybody was like that. And even the people who was nice, it's like, yeah, I like being around you, but I still got to go home to mess. You see what I'm saying? And so, like, the worst part of the day for me was coming home. Like, that's what it became. I'd rather be at school all day and, you know, deal with the bullies than come home, because these are people who I can't run from. I could leave school and run, which I would never try, because I've never been one to, like, ditch school and be skipping and all of that. But at the same time, because, nah, you get that call at school, it's over. You get a whooping. I definitely didn't. I want that. I was getting enough as it is already. But yeah, so that's just the typical childhood, really. I don't think anything traumatic outside of the abuse from the second husband. And he was just physically abusive. Like, he just used to just beat us for no reason. And he saw power in beat us. Then he beat us and then tried to have us give him a hug and stuff. It was weird. But on some narcissistic type shit. And you know that my mom is married to her third husband, and I'm glad that she found him, because that's the man who's treated her the best. Like, people try to get on people. There's a meekness that he has about him, and people try to claim that it is a weakness. But meekness, y'all, is not a weakness. Meekness, there's strength in meekness. And a person being able to control their emotions and not get angry and know how to handle you when you just an explosion all the time. And I can be the same way. Like, now, my friend right now, he's really, he's very kind to me, y'all. And like I said, I prayed for somebody like him who would be patient enough to me, and who wouldn't leave me despite me wanting to leave them, or me wanting to go do what I wanted to go do, or feeling how I wanted to feel. I had to take my feelings out of it and stop playing the victim and take some accountability, because you can't just say, oh, my childhood, and then blame everything on my childhood, but have no accountability. I was one of those people where, like, literally, I would be like, oh, but I had this type of childhood, and then do what I wanted. Like, when I was 18 and 19, that's how it was. People like, do you ever like take a stop to look to see what role you played in? Because you be telling these stories like it's just them. But then it's you. But then I was very naive as well. And naive in the sense that I really hadn't, when it came to males, I was very naive. Like, I was very naive, like, literally. It didn't take much for somebody to get me under their finger. And I'm just gonna say it like that. Like, to be in my mind and play mind games with me, it didn't take much. Because I didn't require much. I hadn't seen, I seen the dynamic of husband and wife through my stepmom and my dad, but I hadn't seen, like, even when I was younger, the struggles were hidden from us that they went through. And my dad was like, there's a lot of stuff that I took her through, like my stepmom who's deceased. But I never knew what that stuff was, because we were shielded from that as children. I remember sometimes she used to be upset with him, but I'm just thinking, you know, they just going through it. They've been petty. But, you know, when you get of age, you start to be more observant about stuff. My dad was never home. Like, never home. Like, he would be home, but then if he was home, he was working. And so he'd be gone. I remember one summer, I think I stayed there one summer thinking, I'm like, yo, where's dad? And they're like, yo, hey, we barely see the man. So my dad has been a workaholic, but he's been there the best he knows how. And like he told me, you know, yeah, you can have the ideal parent who is the parent of the year and all of that to everybody else, but as children, when you have that in your own home, you tend to take it for granted. And that's just the reality of the situation. We took my dad for granted, for real. He was a man of God. He was doing what he was supposed to do. He was the youth mentor. Any award you probably could name it, like, that comes with the church, he has had. But he was a deacon, you know. But one of the very few deacons doing what he was supposed to be doing. When it came to marriage, and it came to, he was trying to be the example for young men and young women like myself, who really wasn't trying to hear that. And so, you know, and because we want to do stuff the way we want to do it, you know, life ends up teaching us. And that's how that works out. In my situation, that's how it worked out. My dad had warned me before I went to college. He said, Kiana, he said, you better not go to school, because you better not be having sex. He said, because once you start, you're not going to want to stop. And at the time, I was afraid. I was like, Dad, I'm not having sex. And he's just like, okay, you're saying that now, but you better not be having sex. You better not start having sex, because once you start, you're not going to stop. He wasn't lying. And so I later on, this is twisted wrong. I later on found out, you know, he wasn't lying. And so, but God has just blessed me so with two good parents, despite them even not being together. He's blessed me with 2 great parents. I carry a lot of their traits. And I love them both dearly. They have done the best that they could with me. Because I was a handful when I was young. And just the anger in me over time didn't help anything. Me building up this anger and ended up resenting both of them because I'm just like, look, y'all done brought me on ass to be here. But y'all can't even, I just always wanted them to have some type of healthy dynamic. And it was always like, I remember I graduated college and I just cried. And I just cried, y'all. And it still brings me to tears to this day. I graduated in like 2017. But like when I actually walked, that was the first time I had seen both sides of my family come together, y'all. And it was only because of me. And I just couldn't believe, like, wow. Like, if I wasn't here, y'all would not be coming together. Like, because really there was no doings with, not either side. Because, I mean, I family on both sides, you know, they be cordial, but behind the scenes, because of what was going on between my mom and my dad, it was just like, nah. Nah. And so, for so many years, right, even when calming down when I got older, they calmed down a lot when I got older. But it was always, I'm not talking to your daddy. He got something to tell me, he could tell you, and you could come tell me. And I'm just like, wow, okay. So I was always the mouthpiece in the middle, so aggravated, because it's like, bruh, why I gotta be in the middle of y'all? Like, why can't y'all just be adults and have a conversation, bruh? Like, it was so stupid. But a lot of it had to do with temperament and not healing and not being able to admit faults on both ends. And now we're in a place where faults have been admitted, but that don't heal the wound and the base issue, right? We can admit faults all day, but until I process it, because I spent so many years fighting myself and hating myself for what was going on between them that had nothing to do with me, it wasn't my fault. But somehow, subconsciously, I'm still deep inside that little girl who's still angry at them and angry how everything turned out. And, you know, I'm not mad that they weren't together. It was just having to be that mouthpiece in the middle. I think that really just pissed me off and make me so angry, because it's just like, y'all can't even talk to each other. Like, I gotta be, it's a lot for a kid to have to handle. And like I said, just because you're 17 or 18 don't mean you're not no kid no more, bro. Y'all got each other number. Call each other to talk about how I'm going to get from one place to the other, or whether or not he going to come pick me up or you going to drop me off. Like, it was a lot. But, I think this neighbor across the street, that's their car. It was a lot, and but I thank God for both my parents, because like, it's so many people who are going through worse situations, and hearing other people's stories, I'm like, I don't know how you made it. Like, literally, that had to be God that brought you through, because like, some people's stories are way worse than mine. Like, you got parents who out here molesting their kids, you got parents who out there raping their kids, like, impregnating their kids, like, it's a whole nine. So I'm like, look, this parents out here just beating their kids, punching them in the face, everything. And so I thank God that my parents wasn't physically abusive to me, because look, that's a whole nother level of, a whole nother layer of angry that a child can have behind not being protected. And I think that's probably the aspect I might have with the whole, because even when I saw this man later in life, this man that used to be married to my mom, her ex-husband, I still didn't like him, but I would fake it or feel the need to fake it. And he would smile in my face, and I'm just like, you so fake. I don't like you. Like, but regardless of whether I like him or not, I'm called to still, I can't hate him. You see what I'm saying? I can't, because it takes too much energy to do all that, honestly. And also, it's like, I have to forgive, right? And sometimes we'd be like, oh, do we have to forgive? Yes, you have to forgive, or you're not going to be forgiven. And that's just how they go. And so I'm just like, well, I know I need to be forgiven. So it's like, you know, there is no going around that. But y'all, I'm telling you, I've been through a lot, and I ain't seen a lot, but I've been through a lot. as a child with coming from both sides. I'm trying to figure out how I should do this. Like I said, I love both my parents, and there's so many people who've gone through way stories. That's why I hate like feeling like I'm complaining, but I can't act like some of the stuff that I went through didn't affect me. You see what I'm saying? And I try to draw that line between complaining and just telling my story. And now I'm just, you know, telling my story. And admitting to myself a lot of the stuff that made me wrong. Like the whole, my dad was there, but because he wasn't in the house, I didn't have a consistent, and I wouldn't go to him and talk about boys and stuff. That's just never been, I'm not gonna say never, because when I got older, I would, when I was actually in relationships, or my dad would ask questions. But outside of him asking questions, I was not talking to that man about none of my boyfriends. That's none of his business. And that's how I would leave it. And because I'm a girl, of course, I would usually go to my stepmom for that, right? And I'd be like, you know, there's this guy, and da-da-da-da-da. And I remember when I had a boyfriend, my stepmom was like, you got a boyfriend? Oh, I'm telling you that. I said, okay, you can tell him. I don't care. This is like when I was in college. I was like, okay, you can tell him. I was like, you know, I said, he comes over, we hang out, we go to the movies. I was like, we're not having sex. I was like, so, you know, my dad never met my first boyfriend, but he was a really nice guy. I was just the wrong timing, bad timing. I was just a little rebel back then, and was not trying to hear what nobody had to say, and I just was doing my own thing. I really didn't need to be in a relationship, honestly. And I was younger than him too, so there's that. But yeah. But if I can go back, I would really stop myself from doing a lot of stuff I did. I was being so stupid, honestly. Like, just the relationships that I had with people and dynamics that I had with people. Not just on, like, boyfriend and girlfriend relationships. We just talking about friendships in general. Like, leaving a lot of stuff that wasn't serving me sooner. And the thing is, I'll say that, but even now, I struggle with that. And struggle with holding on to people who may not be what's for me. But I've gotten into that action area where I'm just like, okay, I can't keep having friends and people around me who are not living for the Lord, because then eventually I'm gonna fall into what they're doing. And I know how easily, I'm not gonna say easily influenced, because I'm not easily influenced. However, I mean, if you got, I'm not trying to be funny, and I don't want to offend nobody when I say this, but if you got 3 friends doing drugs, okay, and every time you come around them, they're doing drugs, it's not gonna be long to you, the 4th person. I'm just saying. So that's why I say you are who you hang around, because literally the type of characters that you hang around are eventually who you become. That's just how that goes. Now, some people are strong enough. I'm not gonna say people are strong, because really God is allowing them to be strong and have the willpower to resist. But people say, "Oh, I'm strong enough to handle it." We're not strong without the Lord Jesus. Honestly, we're really not. We think we are. And I was so concerned about being so strong. I'm gonna be strong, because for so long as I was the more aggressive child, right, when I was younger. But because I was so angry because everything that was going on with me, and I had nobody to talk to, there was no getting it out outside of my hairstylist. Like, I didn't have nobody to talk to. And so think of going to a hairstylist once every 2 to 3 weeks. But I really gotta thank her, because she really kept me. God placed her on the path to keep me sane, y'all. Because, like, if I didn't have nobody to talk to, I would have lost it. I would have lost it a long time ago. And we all need somebody to talk to. And I, tell my hairstyle stuff, and, sometimes it would end up coming back to my mama, sometimes not. It was never nothing inappropriate, but, we just all need that person to talk to. And a lot of times, that's beauticians. A lot of times that's beauticians, but enough about me. I'm just thanking God I'm not where I was, but I know I got a long way to go. My attitude need to change. The way I treat a lot of people in my life who just trying to help me needs to change, and I just need to get out of my own way. And only Jesus can help me fully submit and honor him and live by him, and do what I need to do for him. Not worry about what nobody else got to say, what nobody else think, but live for him, because it's what's right, and he is the way. There is no other way, and I know that now. That my way ain't the way. I've tried my way so many times, I can't even count. You know, and I'm tired of doing stuff my way. And we say that, honestly, but my actions are starting to change as far as me reading the scriptures. And I'm slowly seeing him change me. And I'm just like, thank you, Lord, for not giving up on me, because so many times I give up on myself. Or place people on my path to not give up on me, because I'd be like, look, just give up on me. I'm a lost cause. I used to tell people that. I was like, I'm a lost cause. I was like, if you think you about to come here looking for love, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I used to tell people that. People who used to like me, I used to tell them, hey, if you come here looking for love, don't even come over here. Don't even look this way. Because I was like, I'm so damaged. Like, I would tell people off the bat, like, I'm so damaged. And then people would pray on that. And I'd be like, well, it is what it is. But I literally used to tell people, I am so damaged. You do not want to deal with me. And some people I came across, I had to warn them. I was like, because look, I'm a very toxic individual. And I'm going to just tell you that now before we even go any further. Like, I used to make an announcement. And thank God now I don't have to make that announcement, because I'm literally, it's not okay. Isn't it? I'm realizing it's not okay. But back then I was so nonchalant. I was just so over myself. I was like, look, even then I was over myself. And I was in the midst of doing all these behaviors. So I was like so over myself. I was like, yo, look, this ain't what you want, okay? I'm going to tell you now. And, you know, I just tell people off the back, like, look, I can't help you, sweetie. Because I used to think that as women, a lot of times we like try to save people. But you can't play God. You see what I'm saying? Only Jesus could save them. All you can do is pray for them. You can try to give them advice and all that, but it's just like, how you gonna give advice and you ain't even working on yourself? And that's where I was. I would try to help people and I hadn't even helped myself. I was like, why am I running behind this man? And I would tell myself that mentally. Why am I running behind this man when I know I don't even have my own stuff together? Like, why am I chasing a relationship and want to be a relationship just because I don't want to be alone? When literally I'm not even like, the whole nine, not taking care of myself. Like, I would get so wrapped up in men, it wasn't even funny. I just used to like completely be like, you know, make that person my little world. And it became an issue. And I was like, look, I can't keep doing this, you know. And I suffer from abandonment issues because what I would do is put myself in these positions knowing this person wasn't for me, knowing who they weren't, who God would have me there. And I would still lay down, and I would still do what I did, and I would still try to be up under that person, knowing that God already said no. And I'd be like, well, I don't care about your no. That's literally what I wasn't saying it like that. But my actions were saying, I don't care about your no. I'm about to do what I want to do. And every time I get my little feelings hurt, and I go sit down somewhere. That's how that would work. I get my little feelings hurt, and I would go sit down real fast. And so a lot of times the Lord is trying to let us know that something is not for us. And he'll tell us plain as day, but we don't want to hear no. We want to hear yes. And we want to keep forcing this no. And so it turns into a yes, like it's going to turn into a yes, and it's not. It's not at all. It's not at all. Respect the no. And that's just what's coming up in my heart. Respect the no, or respect. When he says no, he is trying to protect you and not to keep you from X, Y, Z. It's kind of like how our parents like to protect us and, you know, say, oh, no, you can't go over nobody's house. I'm like, you don't ever let me do nothing. It's just like, but you don't need to be doing everything. That's the thing. You don't need to be doing everything. You need to sit down somewhere. You don't ever let me do nothing. That's the first thing we think. You don't say that. In Black House, you don't say that. But you think it. You're like, bro, she don't let me do nothing, bro. And then you start sneaking and doing stuff you ain't got no business doing, because you feel like your parents not giving you the freedom you need. But then when you get the freedom you wanted, that you claimed you wanted so bad, you abuse it. You abuse it. You literally abuse it and do everything in your power to make sure them freedoms is never given again. I tell you, we something else, yo. We're something else. I say we because he is still working on me. He is still working on me. Still. And I just thank him for not giving up on me, yo, because it was, I'm telling y'all, so many times I was just like, look, let me die. And I hate to say it like that, but I usually tell him, just kill me. Because I was like, I literally, the pain was that bad to me in the moment. I just be like, just let me die. I was like, because look, I'm being stupid. I'm making the same mistakes over and over. And then you know, I know it's me. I know I'm to blame, and I will always blame myself regardless of what action the other person took. I was forced into accountability because for so long I would play the victim and be like, well, I have a victim mentality and look at what the other person did to me, but not how the role that I played in those actions being, you know, taken towards me. So, I do want to say, if you've been, I don't know, this is random, but if you've been sexually assaulted or you've been raped, you've been molested, go get some help. And I know I'm that sounds crazy for me to come out left field saying that, but go get some help, because there are people who want to love you, who want to help you, who can't help you because you haven't actually gone to get help from the issues. You know, they know that they can't heal the issues that you got going on. I would say don't blame yourself if that happened to you, but you do need to go seek help. You have to take it upon yourself to seek help, because nobody's going to seek that help for you. And the Lord can help you, but I also do believe he places people in your path to help you. And some of those people are therapists. I do firmly believe that. And so I think that's all I got to say for today. I'm about to finish this twist probably up in silence unless the Lord places something else on my heart to say. I'm still struggling to hear from him. Well, I've been hearing from him through other people. So that's how that's been going. I think he probably knows I'm not ready for his voice. But his voice is talking to me via scriptures and via me saying something, and, you know, sometimes I'll just be talking. But allowing me to know when I need to shut up. You know, I say it like that, but seriously, no. Sometimes I do just need to shut up. And he's allowing control on my tongue, allowing me to know when it's not even worth me, like, arguing or going back and forth or trying to convince somebody. It's not worth, like, what's gonna come out my mouth. And so he's been working on that with me a lot, controlling my tongue, because I will say some very damaging stuff that I cannot take back, and I'm tired, honestly, of saying the wrong stuff and then trying to be like, oh, I'm sorry later on. Like, sorry don't change the fact that you still hurt that person and what you said. You see what I'm saying? So there's that. I think I need to do these top ones right here. I think that's actually all of them. Am I going to retwist all these? No. Keep saying no. And they're retwisting them all. I think I'm just gonna do this top right here. Remember, I did split these up. Yeah, that's all I have to talk about. I just need to get some stuff off my chest. Get stuff out in the open. My parents did the best they could, and that's cool. But we all need to get some type of help, seek the Lord through his word, and do better, and actually take actions to do better, and not just say, oh, Lord, change my heart, and then not put in no work. Because I was the queen of that. I was the queen of that. Okay. So I do want to talk about something else. I feel like he's placed something else on my heart. So, the seductress. The seductress. I used to like to seduce men. That's what I used to like to do. I found pride in that when I was in college or during some years of college because I thought it was cute. So anybody watching this that is not cute. It is not Christ-like, and it is not at all in any way, shape, or form funny. It's disgusting. It's really disgusting. But I was perverted from pornography and what I thought sex should be. And I had okayed myself with sex outside of marriage, the whole nine. Seducing a man is not gonna make him fall in love with you. I know a lot of the rhetoric in this world is, oh, if I put that vagina on you, it'll make you fall in line or make you fall in love with me. No, sis, you're gonna be somewhere crying with a pillow. That's what's gonna happen. And a lot of that music I was listening to was sexual during that time, which is why I can't listen to sexual music no more. Like I said, I was deep in pornography. This is something I've admitted to like one person. Well, two. I was deep in pornography really badly. I don't think I had a porn addiction because I would randomly stop, but I was still participating in like watching pornography, right? Or participatee. Is that how I go? Participate. Anyways, if you're watching pornography, stop. It's not doing anything for you. It's not good for your spirit. You get a misconception of what you think sex is supposed to be. It could twist it perverts sex, because sex is good within marriage. It's not that sex is bad. It's the fact that we have perverted it into our own version of what we want it to be. Sex was never meant to be what we wanted it to be, and how we got it out here, and how we just treat each other like pieces of meat. Literally, treating each other like pieces of meat and something to just be discarded. Sex is not something you just do with somebody and throw it away. Soul ties are real. And I don't even know why I'm saying all this, but I'm just saying it because it needs to be said. Soul ties are real. And when you are having sex with all these different people, it takes a weight on your soul. Your body's supposed to be a temple. How your body gonna be a temple if you letting everybody enter it? As a female, just saying. As a male, same thing. How's your body a temple when you stick your penis in everything that walk by? Like, we have a high amount of AIDS, we have a high amount of STDs in our community, and communities across the board, really, in the world, but because we chose to pervert sex. And it's like, sex will come at the right time, but I am currently practicing a celibacy. I'm not even celibate, I'm abstinent at this point. Like, cold turkey, no masturbation, no looking at porn videos. Sometimes I see some stuff and I'm just like, oh, gotta scroll past that because no, and unfollow that person because I don't want to see that again. Watch who you follow, guard your ear gates, guard your eyes, guard your mouth, because a lot of stuff we see is of sexual nature. The world has pushed to us this inkling of, oh, you gotta have sex and you gotta get it in. We gotta have, and it's just so amazing. It's just like not outside of the covenant of God. It's not as amazing as you think. This is why we have so many broken homes. This is why we got so many single mothers out here. Granted, there are some single mothers who actually were married or were, and that's the exception, okay? Or who may have been, are. That's the exception. But all in all, it's a matter of really self-control and learning that self-control. Cause I used to have no self-control. And that's something you gotta learn. And you gonna learn it. If you need, you gonna learn it. You gonna learn it. And it's, you don't want it to be that way though, where it takes certain circumstances for you to learn it. It's best that you just stop altogether. And a lot of people say, oh, I need sex, or I'm a man and I got needs, or I'm a woman and I got needs, and use this little excuse as to having needs as to why we want to go out here and fornicate, but we just want to, live in the flesh and do fleshly, things, and it's not okay. It's hurting a lot of people. It's leaving a lot of broken homes. It's hurting. We're bringing children into this world as women who didn't ask to be here, and then getting mad at them because we made a decision to sleep with their daddy that we knew wasn't for us from the jump, because we ignored the red flags, because we decided, oh no, I'm going to paint that red flag green. Like, it's not okay, and it's causing a lot of more harm than good. when we're going through this and doing this and putting ourselves and our bodies through this. Like we literally, and like I said, I'm speaking from a place of I've been there, right? I've been there where you just, I mean, ain't no other way to put it. I don't put my information out there like that. But I mean, where you just doing whatever with whomever and you just don't care. I've been there where you're in that sexual immorality and you got that spirit on you and you just don't care who you can get it from, but you're trying to fill a void that, first of all, you can't fill through sex outside of marriage, first of all. And even when you get married, that void ain't gonna be filled. Only Jesus can fill that void that you got going on with you. Only he could fill that void. And so thinking that you about to have sex and you're gonna sex it away, you're gonna smoke it away, you're gonna drink it away, it don't work like that. It literally don't work like that. And remembering everything ain't for everybody, but some stuff ain't for nobody, okay? Like, I know people say, oh, everything ain't for everybody, but some stuff ain't supposed to be for nobody. You know, as the body of Christ, we supposed to be called out, and you can't be called out if you're doing what you want to do, living how you want to live. It just don't work like that. We want it to work like that, but that's not how it works. I had one of the rubber bands in when my hair got washed. Okay. But it definitely does not work like that the way we want it to. Because we want to do what we want to do. The flesh is going to want to do what it wants to do. But the spirit can be stronger if we allow it to. And if we draw away from those things and draw closer to the Lord, we won't be having all these battles that we have. I mean, just to be honest, we will not be have any of these battles that we are having. But we want to do what we want to do. We don't want to submit. We want to go and club and drink and do what TV tells us to do. Be careful with some of the stuff you watch. I've been struggling with that. So I'm a fan of the Ozarks, and I like the storyline, but it's a lot of violence, and I should not be watching it. I shouldn't. There's a lot of sex scenes in it. It's a lot of frivolous activity going on that I should not be, especially with the previous porn addiction, that I should not be watching, which usually I fast forward past that because I don't want to see nobody having fake sex, honestly. Just saying. And especially not an old person and a young person. It's disgusting. But, yeah, I'm getting to that place where I no longer can watch certain stuff. I can't listen to certain stuff. I don't want to hear certain stuff, primarily because of my previous sex addiction. So, and I've never said that it was an addiction. I believe it was because it was something I would give up and then I would come right back to it, especially when I wasn't having sex, and so, or when I wasn't sexually active. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stop, and I start back up. Okay, I'm gonna stop, then I start back up. Like, okay, this is boring. I'm gonna stop. And it wasn't a need to do it. It was just something that I, at the time, oh my goodness, the shirt won't stay down. Something at the time enjoyed doing or whatever, and I would get bored. And I mean, y'all, an addiction is an addiction. You running from something, you're trying to fill a void that is not going to get filled through all this extra stuff that is of the world. And ain't no other way to put it. All right, so this is my hair. This back, I know I said I wasn't going to do my whole top head, but this back portion ain't getting done. This right here ain't getting done. Because I'm already late for what I was supposed to be doing anyway. So I'm gonna, dang, it's 3 o'clock. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up. And, I'm gonna wrap this up. Yeah, that's just my story, y'all. I know this is pretty long. Been an hour and 9 minutes. Yeah, I just don't feel like doing the back of my head. I don't think I'm gonna do it. I think I'm gonna be lazy and not do it. It takes too long. I don't feel like doing all this. The whole goal was for me not to do all this. I'm gonna put all this up that's at the top anyway. I'm gonna put all this in a ponytail. Okay. Alright, cool. That's what I'm gonna do. Alright, well, I'm about to go out. So, because I'm tired of sitting in this house. I asked my friend if he wanted to go with me. He's up, so he don't know. So, I'm about to go out. Just do me for once. I do need to do these two right here, though. Dang it. Alright.